Never give up. A story that inspires persistence. Have you ever faced a moment when life seemed to push you down again and again, no matter how hard you tried? A moment when giving up felt easier than continuing? If so, this story is for you. Because sometimes, what seems like the end is only the beginning. Long ago, nestled between quiet green hills and flowing rivers, there was a small village where life moved slowly, almost like the steady rhythm of a heartbeat. The people there were simple, hardworking, and closely connected. Children played in dusty streets. Farmers tilled their land from sunrise to sunset. And elders sat beneath giant banyan trees, sharing stories that carried wisdom across generations. In this village lived a boy named Arin. He was no hero, no prince, and no scholar, just an ordinary young man with an extraordinary dream. Arin wanted to become a skilled carpenter. He loved shaping wood, creating furniture, and giving life to something that began as just a rough block. But there was one problem. Arin was not very good at it. His hands trembled when he carved, his chairs often broke when people sat on them, and his neighbors whispered that he should quit and choose another path. Yet Arin had something deep inside him, an unshakable desire to keep going. And then there was Elder Samir, an old carpenter in the village. With wrinkled hands, calm eyes, and a quiet presence, he was known not only for his beautiful creations but also for the wisdom he shared. People said that Elder Samir could see beyond wood and nails. He could see life itself in every grain, every curve, and every mistake. The first challenge. One morning, Arin decided he would prove himself. He set out to build a wooden bench for the schoolyard where the children gathered. He worked tirelessly, carving and hammering, ignoring the sweat dripping from his forehead. When the bench was finally ready, he called the children with pride. But as soon as two of them sat on it, the wood cracked, and the bench collapsed in front of everyone. The children laughed, and some villagers shook their heads in pity. Ashamed, Arin ran to Elder Samir's workshop. "Master Samir," he said, voice breaking, "I don't think I'm meant to be a carpenter. Everything I make falls apart. Maybe the villagers are right. Maybe I should give up." The elder looked at him silently for a moment, then smiled faintly. "Tell me, Arin," he said softly, "when you first learned to walk as a child, did you fall?" "Of course," Arin whispered. "And when you fell, did you give up on walking?" Arin hesitated. "No, I kept trying." Samir leaned closer. "Then why give up on something your heart longs for, just because you fell a few times? Good or bad, my boy? Only time can tell." Those words echoed in Arin's mind. Good or bad, only time can tell. Persistence in the shadows. Determined to keep trying, Arin began working at night, when no one was watching. Every failure became a lesson. Every mistake became a teacher. Slowly, his hands grew steadier, his eyes sharper, and his patience deeper. But fate is never simple. Just as Arin began to improve, a great storm swept across the village. Winds roared, trees fell, and houses trembled. When it ended, many homes were damaged, and the villagers were left in despair. Arin felt his heart sink. His small workshop had been destroyed completely. The tools he had saved up for years were gone. "This is a sign," he thought bitterly. "Perhaps I'm not meant to follow this path after all." He sat beneath the broken roof, staring at the ruined wood. For the first time, he truly considered giving up. The wisdom of patience. The next day, Elder Samir found him sitting quietly among the ruins. "Arin," he said gently, "why do you sit here as if everything is lost?" "My workshop is gone, Elder. My tools are gone. My dream is gone. How can I continue without them?" The old man picked up a broken piece of wood, smooth on one side but rough on the other. He handed it to Arin. "Do you see this?" Samir asked. "Yes," One side is scarred, the other is smooth, but both are part of the same wood. Life is like this, Arin. Sometimes smooth, sometimes rough. We do not throw it away because of the scars, we work with them. You have not lost your dream. You have only been given another test. Patience, my boy. Patience and faith. Something shifted in Arin's heart. He realized that maybe, just maybe, this was not the end but another beginning. The turning point. Arin decided to rebuild his workshop. He borrowed tools from neighbors, who at first were skeptical but slowly admired his courage. He worked from sunrise to sunset, repairing what was lost. One day, as he was carving quietly, a small sparrow flew into his workshop. It was weak and trembling, its wings slightly injured. Arin gently picked it up, fed it grains, and made a tiny wooden perch for it to rest. Day by day, the sparrow regained strength. The villagers who saw this were touched. They began to whisper differently, not with pity, but with respect. Perhaps Arin has something special after all, they said. The sparrow became a symbol in Arin's workshop, a reminder that healing and growth take time. But with care, even the broken can fly again. Failure again. Just as things began to improve, another challenge struck. Arin was asked to build a large gate for the village temple, an honor and responsibility that terrified him. He worked harder than ever, pouring his soul into the project. But on the day of unveiling, the gate's hinges broke, and the great wooden door fell with a loud crash. Gasps filled the air. Some villagers shook their heads again, disappointed. Arin's heart shattered. "Why does this keep happening to me?" he cried. But then, Elder Samir walked forward, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Arin," he said calmly, "do you think the seed that fails to sprout the first time stops trying? No. It waits for the right season, the right soil, the right rain. You are like that seed. Your time will come." The villagers listened. For the first time, they began to see not just Arin's failures, but also his persistence, the unexpected outcome. Months later, a wealthy merchant traveling through the village noticed one of Arin's simple wooden stools. It was not perfect, but it was sturdy, balanced, and carried a certain warmth. "Who made this?" the merchant asked. When he learned it was Arin, he ordered several more pieces. Slowly, word spread. People from nearby towns began to seek Arin's work, not because it was flawless, but because it carried heart, patience, and soul. The sparrow that once could not fly now soared freely above his workshop. The boy who once wanted to give up now became the carpenter whose persistence inspired an entire village. The moral. Years later, when Arin himself had grown old, he told children stories beneath the banyan tree, just as Elder Samir once had. And he would always say, "Remember, children, when life pushes you down, do not think it is the end. Good or bad, only time can tell. Be patient. Have faith. Never give up. Because sometimes, what feels like failure today becomes the seed of tomorrow's success." Closing reflection. So, dear listener, what about you? Have you faced moments when you wanted to give up? When your dreams felt too heavy? Your failures too many? Your journey too rough? Remember Arin's story. Remember the sparrow. Remember that persistence turns scars into strength and struggles into stepping stones. Good or bad, only time can tell. So hold on, be patient, keep moving forward, and never, ever give up. This has been a story from Finance Compass, where we share timeless wisdom to guide your journey. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more stories that inspire persistence and faith. And now, I leave you with this question. What dream of yours deserves one more try?